Have you ever questioned the stories told by NASA about the moon landing? Like, really questioned them? It's one of those historical events that everyone accepts as truth. But what if there's more to the story? Today, we're diving deep into the top 10 terrifying facts that might prove NASA wasn't entirely truthful about the moon landing. Get ready to have your mind blown, guys. Right off the bat, things get weird. When you look at the shadows in the moon landing photos, they're all over the place. Some are parallel, some aren't, like there are multiple light sources. But hold on, the only light source on the moon is the sun, right? So how is that possible? It's like they were using studio lights or something. I'm not saying they filmed it on a soundstage, but maybe they filmed it on a soundstage? Okay, I'm just kidding. Or am I? This is seriously messed up, you guys. Okay, buckle up, because the video of the lunar module landing is even more suspicious. The footage is shaky and unclear, which is understandable given the technology back then. But there are cuts and edits that just don't sit right with me. It's almost like they were trying to hide something, you know? And the way the module lands, it's just too smooth, too perfect. I don't know, guys, it feels off, like really off. This one is a classic, the waving American flag. We all know there's no air on the moon, so how could the flag be waving? NASA claims it was a telescopic pole that made it look like it was rippling. But come on, look at the footage. It's clearly waving in the wind. This is one of the biggest pieces of evidence that something fishy is going on. Like, did they just forget about basic science, or were they hoping we wouldn't notice? Things get even weirder when you start digging into the astronauts' accounts of the moon landing. There are inconsistencies in their stories, things that don't match up with the mission logs. It's like they're forgetting details, or maybe they're deliberately changing their stories. I mean, I know being an astronaut is stressful, but you'd think they'd remember the biggest moment of their lives, right? Here's a question that keeps me up at night. If they were really on the moon, why are there no stars in any of the pictures? The moon has no atmosphere, so the stars should be incredibly bright and visible. But in every single photo, the sky is just black. It's like they forgot to add them in post-production or something. Seriously, what is going on here? Okay, get this. To reach the moon, astronauts had to pass through the Van Allen radiation belt. This belt is full of intense radiation that's supposed to be lethal, so how did they survive? NASA claims they went through it quickly, minimizing exposure, but some scientists argue that it's impossible to survive that level of radiation no matter how fast you go. This is where things get really creepy. There's a photo from the moon landing that shows a rock with the letter C clearly marked on it. Like what? How did that get there? Was it a prop they accidentally left behind, or is there something more sinister going on? This one photo has fueled countless conspiracy theories, and honestly, I don't blame people for freaking out about it. Think about the technology they had in the 1960s. It was primitive compared to what we have today. So, how did they manage to pull off such a complex mission with such limited technology? Some experts believe it would have been impossible, that the technology just wasn't advanced enough. It's a valid point, and it makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, it was all a big show. Over the years, there have been alleged whistleblowers who have come forward with information that challenges the official narrative of the moon landing. They claim to have inside knowledge of a massive cover-up, and their stories are terrifying. I'm not saying they're all telling the truth, but it's hard to ignore their claims, especially when they match up with some of the other evidence. Even today, scientists are analyzing the moon landing footage and finding new discrepancies. Their analysis reveals inconsistencies in the lighting, the shadows, and even the way the astronauts move. It's like they're uncovering new evidence that points to a staged event. With every new study, the moon landing conspiracy becomes more and more convincing. Guys, I'm not saying the moon landing definitely didn't happen, but there are just too many unanswered questions, too many weird things that don't add up. What do you think about these facts? Drop your opinions in the comments below. This is some seriously freaky stuff, and I want to know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most controversial topics. We're going to be exploring all sorts of crazy conspiracies, so stay tuned.